A tangled web inside my mind.
The understanding of there is no spoon, I think, when we look at everything that is in this physical, what we're calling the physical existence, this whole experience of 3D matter, we're really understanding that it all came from somebody's mind.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about a blank canvas. We're talking about a holographic world where, I mean, essentially, like, you can project what you want onto the canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know that it's not solid. We know that what we are going through at any point in time, no matter how heavy it feels, no matter how challenging it feels, no matter how real it looks,
Mm-hmm.
there's no spoon. And what that truly means is that it's once you realize that the spoon will bend, meaning what?
Mm-hmm.
This reality will bend to your will because you planted the reality that you wanted. You didn't hold on to what you thought was real, what you thought was solid, what you thought was blocking you, what you thought was in your way. You surrendered to the universe. This is not real. This experience I'm having right now is transitory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like what I see. It's cool. My ego's like, this is some nasty stuff right now. That's okay. Because guess what? I'm planting something different. What spoon? What? So you're the one who have to be fluid.
Yeah.
You have to shift.
Peace and blessings. I am Monique Ruffin, and I'm the host of Forget Everything You Think You Know. I'm so excited to be here today because we are in the window of the Leo new moon. And Leo is such an incredible, exciting energy. Leo is the energy that governs our creative self-expression. It governs romance. It governs the early stages of sexuality, like when you're attracted to someone. Leo is the energy that rules our hearts. So one of the things that's very interesting to me in America, I think heart failure is one of the biggest ailments that people in this country die from. And it's because oftentimes our hearts are closed due to depression and trauma and heartbreak and unforgiveness. So all of this is Leo energy. So this month, we want to become very aware of places where we're holding grudges, where our hearts are closed. We want to look through our lineage and really see, if we are lined up with our own creative power, our own creative potential, our own light, because Leo is the energy that rules the sun. The sun is the energy of Leo. And so wherever the sun is in your chart, maybe we all have Leo in our charts, but we're not all a Leo. So wherever the sun is in your chart, that energy is where you are supposed to really be creatively self-expressed because Leo rules the sun. So if you are a Sagittarius, the energy in Sagittarius is supposed to be really lit up for you. Whatever sign you are, that Leo energy there, that sun energy, that light energy means that you have power and light and resources to shine in that area. And ultimately, Leo is about this Christed energy, the light that lighteth up every man, woman, and child. It is in ancient Kemetic philosophy. It is Haru, the who Osiris and Isis in the Greek gave birth to Haru. But I do believe it is more, it's not Osiris, it is Asar and Aset, and they gave birth to Haru. So literally, what is it that you are giving birth to? Your creativity is the power of giving birth to something. This is not necessarily about a physical birth. It can be. You do give birth to the light when you give birth to a child. You give birth to the light encased in matter. but you are also constantly giving birth to your thoughts. Everything in our physical world reality was in the imagination of someone before it became an external experience. When it becomes the external experience, it is the evidence of the light. It is the evidence of your creativity. So this is a power that you are endowed with in your own humanity, is to become God, Christ, Haru in your own life, because you are the creative power for your life. And that's what you're born for, to reveal your own creative power. So with that, we are in the Leo new moon energy, and I am so excited. I have Divine Wang with us here today again, because I was so moved by our conversation at the Aquarius full moon last time. And then it just so happens that Divine has a Leo rising and he is a Leo. So he fits. How you doing, Divine?
Peace and blessings. It's great to be back. I'm feeling wonderful. Thank you, Monique, for having me here. It's a lot of energy going on lately. This Leo.
It is. How you doing, by the way?
Yeah, it's I I find that I'm definitely seeking to. There's so many things to learn. There's always so many things to learn. I tell myself, well, as long as I'm breathing, like, let's get this work done.
Mm-hmm.
Because even for myself in understanding what the Leo energy is, it kind of gives me a compass in looking at where I'm at now and where I'm needing to go.
Mm-hmm.
I measure myself against myself.
Yes, right. Who else is there to compete with but your own self, right?
Right. And so that energy is really, it's really something. You're talking about birthing new realities. And really to do that, we're talking about a mastery of a knowledge of self, and then also just that mastery. It's almost kind of like like chemistry, like what's happening inside of me to create this new reality.
Yeah.
You have Osar, you have this understanding of you being connected to that divine source.
Mm-hmm.
You have all set. You have that, that feminine essence, that pouring of the water into that subconscious space, pouring into the earth, or pouring into the ether. Like, this is what I want to bring forth.
Mm-hmm.
And you bring it forth. Like you said, you have this physical manifestation. The light is encased in the matter, but it's here.
That's right.
So it's really, this is interesting because we're all magicians.
Whether we know it or not, that's the thing.
Yeah.
My work here with this podcast and anything that I do is really to be in a constant state of reminding myself that I am creating this reality.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to think that you're not. So what are some of the things that you do being a Leo? And because, like, Leo is all about creativity. How do you live inside of your creativity?
This is so interesting because given that where we are with the astrology, I know for myself that I'm being reminded to make that a priority. And why do I say that? Because it's been so many external things happening and going on, it can literally usurp one's energy. And I definitely have felt like, it's usurped my energy to a certain extent. And I've also been at a kind of crux, like a crossroads, and say, hey, what are you doing with your creativity? Like, I've had to ask myself, what is the daily ritual? And here's the thing, because I don't know if it's, that aspect of the ego or just the masculine aspect, to where there's such an external focus that I almost don't listen to what's happening inside.
Yes.
That says, hey, Divine, you're supposed to be moving. Like, I know some people, they know me as a creator, like I paint, I make beautiful food, but I'm also a dancer. Like dance was always one of my, like growing up, it was always one of my loves. And it's interesting that, my sister dances, my mother was a dancer, and I'm sure how many people in the line were as well.
Yes.
But the interesting thing about dance being that it's a fluid movement there. Like it's not static. And it could be a particular dance or art form, but it could be just as fluid as you create it. And that is the space that I know currently that I'm being reminded to be in all of the different aspects of creation right now. Even yesterday, I was like, listen, the energy was heavy, but I'm going to paint. I'm going to create. I'm going to move through this.
Yes. Yes. I just want to speak to one thing you said. I mean, I want to speak to everything you said, but there's one particular thing. The energy is heavy right now because the sun in Leo is in opposition to Saturn in Aquarius. And Saturn is a heavy, dense energy that is forcing not just you, all of us, to let go. You really feel it because you are a Leo rising with a Leo sun. But Saturn in opposition to Leo is saying, release the things that are keeping you heavy. Like whatever is too heavy, let it go. Right.
Hold on to these structures and these.
That's right. And it's an identity thing because Aquarius is your divine identity. Like, and when people are like, well, what do you mean divine identity? What do you mean? Who you were before you got, like, people don't realize that this system we're in is a made up, like America is like a big Disneyland. And we're not functioning in alignment with nature and cycles. And so we believe that we are a woman. We believe that we are a mother. We believe that we are an attorney. We don't understand that these are just roles.
They're roles, like putting on another t-shirt. We don't get that. Like what's behind that?
That's right.
That is who we really are.
That's right.
These roles, because it can change the role tomorrow.
The role is going to change tomorrow. So many of us are being forced to really, the things that we have really identified with that are blocking us from who we really are, the things that we are holding on to, like, I have people in my life, like for myself, I don't even talk about anybody else, but, just identity structures that I have been holding on to, feeling like I need this in order to feel safe in the world. And Spirit is like, no, you don't need none of that. Like really we're at this time on the planet because of what's going on astrologically and energetically, and we're moving out of the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius is really about detach from the old constructs. In astrology, we say that Aquarius is the energy of like rebelling against the mother. And mother also means matter, right? So rebelling against that structure that created it this way, to create a new structure, so that we can experience it a new way.
Right. What's interesting about that is, or why people may feel a lot of difficulties, because it's almost like quicksand, or the fact that, the ground is, we don't have any, when we're in air, we don't have the ground. It's not there.
That's right. That's right.
We want to hold on to that. We want to hold on to that ground. We want to hold on because it feels comfortable. Even if it's crazy, we're used to that crazy.
Yes. Yeah.
And as we're identifying with these roles, it makes it difficult for any change or transition to happen because we can't see ourselves outside of that role. Mm-hmm. But when we know that we're not that role, we're like the divinity behind it. We're like, okay, well, it's time to shift. Or if something external is happening to this particular role, mm-hmm. I'm gonna be okay because I can literally create another role. Like, what am I tripping about?
That's right. I think the beautiful thing about being an artist and I am not an artist in the way that you are, but you literally can tell another story.
Yeah.
You can just paint yourself a new.
And here's the thing, what we say in art, there are no mistakes. for a lot of other artists, because I do art with my friends, and I messed up. I'm like, you didn't mess up. You can do what you want.
Yes.
If you don't like that color, you're gonna put another color. You let that dry, put another color on top of it.
Yes.
There's no, there's no messed up. There's no mistakes.
Yes.
Like we're in this process of creating. You don't like what you created, create something else.
That is the key to creativity, or one of them for sure, is, I feel like as humans, we're constantly creating ourselves. Like I said, we are made in the image and likeness of God. God is a creator. We are creators. And whatever we create, I always say to myself, don't hate your creation. Don't hate it.
That's so, oof. That's yeah, there's so many things that could be said about that, but it's, we have to learn from what we're creating, and we have to give gratitude. Even when it feels like it's messy, but like we give gratitude, because it's just like all that it's doing is bring you back to that compass. Okay, that was a rough ride. Okay, where we going next? Because I don't want to do that again. But here's, you're bringing the power back home. You're not giving the power to that experience or something that's happening.
Yes.
Because if you continue to do that, well, guess what? That's not going anywhere. And you're actually honoring it, asking it, hey, you need to stick around.
Yes. Right. When you resist it, you're holding it in place by resisting it. I had an experience yesterday where a friend of mine, someone that I'm pretty close to, said something that really hurt my feelings. And it stung me. And I was just in a tizzy about it. When I tell you I was crying like I was 8 years old and somebody just ate my now laters. You know how, like, when you're a child and like my mother used to be like, you can't have these now, you can have them on Saturday. And then I'm waiting, it's Tuesday and I get to Saturday and then I go and I'm like, who ate my now laters? You've been waiting, right? So I was crying like that, like, ah. And then it occurred to me, I was like, I started listening to the story I was telling. They didn't value me. How could they think this? They don't see me. They don't understand me. And then I just stopped and I said, you don't value you. You don't see you. You're not understanding yourself. You don't see your own value. And I was like, oh, they're just showing me myself.
It's so deep. It's so deep because, like, to get to that point is a challenge for a lot of people. I will say, this is one of those critical reflective elements that we have to get during this day and time. Because if we understand, let's say, the universal law of oneness, then who else is out there? There ain't nobody out there but you.
Yes.
So when you can take a moment to kind of look for your reflection, and if you can't find it, ask for it.
Yes.
Ask for it. I know I got into some crap with my husband a couple of weeks ago, and I just was like, what is this? But I was in such a messy space for myself. I was like, I can't see. I went to the river, spent some time at the river, whatever. And I was like, I need to see myself. Like, what am I not seeing? What am I not getting? Like, where is this coming from? That you have to ask.
Yes.
Because what we ask, because we want to get to the root of it. I mean, some people may be satisfied where they're at. Some people may be satisfied in the muck. Some people may be satisfied blaming others. But when you're blaming others, you're just giving away your power. It doesn't make anything shift or change. But I know when I'm going through something, I need to, like, what is happening, divine? What is happening? And I need to see.
Yes.
And trust me, it will be shown to you. I'll be happy when it's shown. I'll be like, oh my God, really? Is that? What? Let me get a pen and pad. What the hell? That's what it is? That's where it came from? When those folks were teasing me back in 8th grade or some shit, that's where the shit's coming from? Like, listen, It's wild because it's going to be shown to you where it's coming from.
Yep.
What you're holding on to, what
Mhm.
you believe in, who you thought did what to you when you were experienced growing up, or what relationship, and you see the same pattern. Oh, that was my ex, or that was this one. Because when it's shown to you, you got to give gratitude, because then you get to know how you're gonna like rework things.
Yes. Oh, this is why I needed you to be here today. Because this is how power works, is when we're willing to look inside of ourselves and dig, ask the deeper questions. And one of the things that, I hear you saying is, earlier today, I was watching the movie The Matrix, and that scene where Neo he goes to see the Oracle, and there's a little Buddha type boy, like monk. He's dressed like monk, right? A little monk type little boy. And he says, it's impossible to move the spoon. You have to realize that there is no spoon. And every time I see that, I'm like, oh my goodness, right? And then there's another moment when Neo and Trinity are going to rescue Morpheus from the people that are holding him captive, and they're about to get on the elevator, shoot. And, he's linking, and what he says as he's about to go on this very dangerous ride up, he goes, "There is no spoon." Right. And so it's like the understanding that there is no spoon. Tell me how that applies in your life with this experience.
The understanding of there is no spoon. I think, I know we were talking about some things earlier. When we look at everything that is in this physical, what we're calling the physical existence, this whole experience of 3D matter, we're really understanding that it all came from somebody's mind.
Yeah.
And, so we're talking about a blank canvas. We're talking about a holographic world where, essentially, like, you can project what you want onto the canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know that it's not solid. We know that what we are going through at any point in time, no matter how heavy it feels, no matter how challenging it feels, no matter how real it looks,
mm-hmm.
there's no spoon. And what that truly means is that it's once you realize that the spoon will bend, meaning what? Mm-hmm. This reality will bend to your will. Because you planted the reality that you wanted. You didn't hold on to what you thought was real, what you thought was solid, what you thought was blocking you, what you thought was in your way. You surrendered to the universe. This is not real. This experience I'm having right now is transitory. Mm-hmm. I don't like what I see. It's cool. My ego's like, this is some nasty stuff right now. That's okay. Because guess what? I'm planting something different. What spoon? What? So you're the one who have to be fluid. Yeah. You have to shift. You have to know that you have that essence inside of you. That's why Neo was able to do all that. Once he learned there was no spoon, he became fluid.
Yes.
Everything bent to his will.
Yes. Oh. And
that ties back into the Christ energy we were talking about. The Haru. Like, it's, you are the hero. You are the shiro of your journey. Mm-hmm. You shift. Mm-hmm. And you notice how every story in the Hollywood and the cartoons and everything, this is the story. This is your story.
Yes.
You ain't just looking at it for entertainment. This is reminding you of who you are, what you came here to do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I so appreciate that, because there's nothing I want more for myself and other women especially, right? It's to get that we are creating our reality, because that feminine power, that subconscious power, is extraordinarily powerful in ways that if we can get that there is no spoon, that we are creating everything from inside of ourselves, it will revolutionize the world. Like,
right. It's wild. I'm in my head right now. I'm thinking there was this one mural that was painted in India from way back when. I don't know how old it was, but in the mural there was this scene of this, this monster and all this disastrous stuff happening, the misery, the hopelessness, da 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 da. Mm-hmm. And there was this black woman there. She was there with like maybe like a pot or whatever. You can see she almost kind of looked a little bit malnourished, but she was representing the deity Kali. Mm-hmm. And there was almost like, how you have those comics where you have a thought and you have these bubbles and all whatever, but it was kind of painted in that manner to which, okay, you believe that you're in this construct where you have all this stuff, you're suffering, it's miserable, this is happening, that is happening, what have you. But then guess where it's coming from? It's coming from you. Like you're projecting all of this into the 3D reality. And that's the crazy thing, is like we're coming back full circle. We understood this. We wrote these stories, we painted them, we told them. I'm going to tell you all something right now that they don't tell us in this Western education. Mythology is real. It is real. Okay, it's like we encoded our understanding of the universe into these stories. Once you understand that you are the characters in the story, it makes sense. It's not somebody outside, it's you.
Right. Right. And I tell you, it is so baffling. When I was a little girl growing up in the Christian church, I always believed that story about Jesus was about me. I always believed like, oh, I'm gonna save the world, and then I got convinced that somehow that it was out there, that I needed a savior to come and save me.
A man is coming from on a cloud.
And so I've suffered. There was a lot of, because I was always trying to clean the mirror, the image in the mirror, by fixing something outside of me. Oh, he won't, and he don't, and he don't. And when I started to really remember again, like, oh, this is all you. When I tell you, my whole life has shifted from that understanding that the mythology is real, that, I am the Christ, I am Moses, I am Mary, I am, right? And so astrology is so fantastic because I'm the Christ. I have a son. The son is Christ. I am Mary. I have a moon. The moon is Mary, right? Like I have a Jupiter. The Jupiter is God, like this incredible big God energy. We all have those characters inside of us.
Right. And the thing is, you're connected to the forces of nature. Like, let me be clear, people. It's not just the you and the nature. Like, you are connected to the forces of nature. You are interacting with the forces of nature all the time.
Yes.
They thought we were crazy when we were, talking to the river and things like that, what have you. But now you understand energetically.
Yes.
You're connected to all these forces because all these forces exist within inside yourself. That's why we wrote those stories. Because here's the thing, if you want to tell a 5-year-old about the secrets of the universe, how are you going to tell him?
Right.
You're going to create this story. And as the child ages, we had different, let's say, initiation systems and things like that. But essentially, as one got older and began to unravel the secrets of the mysteries and the secrets of the universe, like you were enlightened, like, hell, this is me. They're talking about me. And once you realize it's about you, then you were about your Father's work. Then you can actually go forth to do what the hell you came here to do.
Yes.
That's that.
That is that. And the opportunity is to learn that, to believe that, and then to live it on a daily basis. And what do you do to support yourself in the living of it?
Yeah, I would say for me, I know we talked about this a little bit last time. It is definitely ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
It's ceremony because here's the thing: the outside world, you're gonna have a lot of, I guess, what I would call distractions. And part of me feels like it's not really a distraction. It's kind of like just a reminder. I mean, if you know how to look at it, it's a reminder. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, for me, that involves definitely everything that's around the imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing: like, I know that everything outside is just a reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do is, I do my meditations, I do my libations, I do my different crafts,
Mm-hmm.
like, but the whole thing is like, oh, studying the cycles, studying the cycles of the moon,
Mm-hmm.
knowing when to do, how to do, the cycles of the sun. Like, everything has a time and place on this planet.
Yes.
And it's really important to be in study. As much as one is doing ceremony, like, you also have to be learning. Like, learn, learn, learn. I mean, if you're not, I mean, what kind of neurons are you building if you're not learning? you know? And so that is, all those things are very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, from the books, but also through the experience. Because when you are creating your own ceremony in order to shift whatever realities, and again, remembering there's no spoon, remembering that everything's a reflection, remembering that you are the divine being, everything always brings you back home.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the thing, you can only be thankful for the experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And as we talk about this, like, I'm reminded that even, the space, like I was saying, the space that I'm in, it feels heavy.
Yes.
But I'm asking myself in this space, what do I want to create?
Mm-hmm.
What do I want to create?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have to talk to ourselves.
Yes.
We have this thing that's called the ego or whatever. It gets in the way, whatever. I mean, it has its place, but we have to talk to ourselves. Just like, when I was talking about asking, show me myself,
Mm-hmm.
we have to ask ourselves, what do I want to create?
Mm-hmm.
What am I learning from this experience? If the experience, let's say, is uncomfortable, what have you. And here's the beautiful thing. Once you see your creation in the 3D, like, because it will come.
Yes.
You get to celebrate. Like, you're celebrating your power. You're celebrating, it's like an affirmation of that divine nature within you, that divine spark.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's there. Like, it's just like waiting for you to give it directions.
Yes. It's so incredible because the thing that's happening in the world right now, as we move from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, we used to have systems in place that were external that we could rely upon, right? It's like something as simple as the post office or the schools or the government or the justice system, or all of those systems really helped us regulate our lives, our energy.
Right.
And now those systems are becoming unreliable. It's like they're just beginning to atrophy because things wear out.
Yes.
Right? Things just wear out. The body is wearing out. Like, things wear out. And so as the systems wear out, it's really important for us to build systems inside of ourselves that allow us to navigate the reality that we're in. And I just encourage people to, like you said, to study. What are some of the things that you study that might, that you have to?
Yeah, I study metaphysics.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely study the different cycles of nature, like moon cycles, sun cycles. Mythology, like, mythology there's so many to look at, but they all have a certain type of blueprint, and they're all talking about you. So mythology, definitely. What else?
Do you have a favorite mythological character that you really relate to? Do you have a favorite one?
Oh God, do I have a favorite? That's a hard one. That's a hard. I really, now I'm going to sit with that.
Okay, well, maybe I should have just. So I have a favorite, right? So I have a favorite from, I believe it's from Greek mythology or Roman, and Cassandra. She was in mythology. She was a seer, and she would predict the things that were happening to the king that were going to be negative, right? She would be like, famine is coming, and everything she predicted came, and it was always negative predictions. So they put her in prison, right? Because she spoke her truth, and right, and so they put her in prison, and then when she didn't stop, they made her marry somebody who dominated her. Can you believe that? The feminine, they made her marry somebody, and so she was literally just imprisoned because she followed her inner knowing, because she knew it was no spoon. So it's almost like they were upset with her for, they were like, you're creating this stuff. Right. So that's one of my favorite mythological characters.
Yeah, it's very interesting. The stories, yeah, they even that one, just when we look at the role of the feminine, and being in an internal space and being able to see and things like that, but then you have this kind of like backlash, like no, we don't want, and I know that's like for a lot of people that's the space that they're in, even when we look at the world, like this kind of like it's very conflicting,
right.
Not wanting to go within. But here's the thing about the structures coming down and the things becoming dilapidated, what have you. If you think of it in the way that your inner self is saying, hey, remember me, remember me, remember me. Like that's all that it's saying. It's like, okay, you all have been focused on this external reality. You've been sitting with these beliefs, these ideas, these structures, what have you, but it's time to come home. And you can choose to, but understand, I mean, if you choose to, I mean, or not, I mean, these things are coming down. Like it's almost kind of like, I almost feel like it's almost like you don't have choice, but you have choice, but it's like, listen, the divine is calling.
Yes.
Like, let go.
Let go.
And you notice when you let go, like you feel that relief.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't have to worry about what's happening out there, or what's going to happen. Like, what do you want to happen?
Right. I think the thing that I have discovered as I have begun to really work from the inside out, living my life from the perspective that there is no spoon, I have begun to realize that when I take my power back from these experience of victimhood, whether it be like, oh, I'm a woman and, women don't get as much pay, or I'm a Black person and white people are out to get us, or whatever the story is that I'm holding, as I begin to question and say, well, is that true? Is that true? What I'm realizing is that when I recognize that, oh, my story is making it true.
Right. Because here's the thing, like we were talking about the identity and basically these roles.
Yeah.
Like, I want to share with you all, like when you place your divinity as number one, then you will get to ask the right questions and then the right answers will come.
Yes.
Place the divinity first. It's not you're Black woman or you're a gay man or you're this or you're that, because all of that is second, third, fourth, or wherever it falls on the line, somewhere on the line.
Yeah.
That's not even you. That's just the physical construct. Okay, you in this material body or what have you, you decided whatever, you have whatever paths, and if your job, you have these titles and different things like that, but scale it all back. It's like peeling the layers of an onion. At the center of it is your divinity. That's who you are.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, well, if that's who I am, what is really blocking, or what is really creating the experience that I'm having?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if I don't like that experience, what do I need to do to shift that? Because if I'm holding on to that story that because I'm Black, that I'm a second class citizen, or I'm holding on to the story that there's never enough, or I don't make money, or whatever the story is, because we all got all these stories. We can write a book, like a whole series.
Mm-hmm.
We really need to get to the root of where these stories are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to release these stories.
Mm-hmm.
And then we need to write a new story.
Yes.
It's where fear comes in. Don't have the fear, because a lot of fear will jack you up.
Yes.
But guess what? Like, if you are truly ready to move into a different story,
mm-hmm.
you cannot allow the fear to be in the way. Like, you can acknowledge it. Yeah, acknowledge it. Mm-hmm. Thank it for its existence. Like, thank you, because
he saved your life a few times, right?
Thank you. But this is what we're about to do today. This is where we're going forward from here. Like, truly. Go
ahead.
No, this is just that's an internal challenge that I know a lot of us have, but this is the journey of the hero. Even like, we go back to the story, back to our stories that we told ourselves thousands of years ago.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And when we're committed to the idea that we are divine, which I love that is your name, that you named yourself divine, right? When we're committed to the idea that we are divine, then the divine unfoldment will always take precedent. But if we are committed to our ego and competition and victimization, then that will take precedent. And I just keep discovering time and time again that when I just trust, oh, okay, this experience is happening. This is painful. I don't know what it is, but I know that God is here because I am creator and I am one with God. So God, help me realize what's the best solution here. And all I have to do is just know that all I have to do is know it. I don't even have to work it out.
Right. Right. Understand that present, it's always there.
Yes.
It's always there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, like the compass. Are we looking out there, or are we looking inside?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hallelujah. Well, I wanted to have you back again because I feel like you have a conversation around feminine energy, which we just talked about. We didn't call it feminine energy that much, but it is a key component to our ability to create anything. Recognizing that the internal is the creator of the external. So yes, before we tie everything up, I want to say thank you. But if there's anything else in the spirit of this Leo energy that either you want to ask me, maybe I can answer something for you because I know you're in your Leo way right now, or if there's something you have to offer, like whatever it is, whatever you would want to leave
I would say, in the spirit of where we are with the Leo new moon, and is to really listen to what you're being called to do at this point in time. We talk about this is an energy that deals with a new identity, a new way, a new whatever the way is. Mm-hmm. It's ask yourself what that is and what that looks like, and to be patient. I have to say patience. Oh yeah, that's like patience. Mm-hmm. Give yourself that patience, because sometimes we rush. And we rush ourselves and we rush our process. Give yourself that patience and sit in that energy and let it be shown to you. If you can't see it, then show it to me. Sometimes you really have to talk like that. You really have to.
Yes.
You have to talk like that.
Yes, you do. I say to myself often, I'll ask myself, why aren't you willing to see this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you blocking yourself from seeing this? Like, I'll say that to myself, and then the block will remove.
Yes. Yeah, we're definitely interdimensional beings. We have to interact because they're different parts of us. So we have to interact with those parts.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much. So the last thing I want to say in the honor of the Leo energy is that it is important for us to be like the sun. It is important for us to know the thing that we are here to do. The sun is here to bring the light. That is what it does, right? So it is important for us to be like the sun and shine forth the light, and the light will help us see through the shadow and through the things that are blocking us from being our own hero. So with that, I feel, Divine, that you do that in such a way that with your artwork, and I've had the privilege of eating your food, like there's something about you that is so incredibly it's like you're a sculpture come to life in some way. Like I see your pictures and your muscles and everything. I'm like, this is a beautiful man. Goodness gracious.
Thank you. Really.
And not only are you physically beautiful, but you are also spiritually aware, and you have great counsel to offer to the people that you support. So there's a wisdom there that you also abide in that I really appreciate. And so I just hope that the listeners have enjoyed you. And if you would just take a moment to tell the listeners where they can find you, that would be really great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Monique. Listeners can find me on Instagram at house_of_the_Wang, WANG. And you can also find me on Facebook at Divine Claiborne, CLAIBORNE. Since Facebook won't allow me to change my name, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all love.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And everyone, thank you for listening. You can check out the things that I'm doing on my website at MoniqueRuffin.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Monique Ruffin and on Facebook at Monique Ruffin. It is always my pleasure to serve you. Remember, this idea of forget everything you think you know is one that encourages us to apply new solutions to old things, because we are moving into a new world. And for those of us who are listening and awake and on our own hero's journey, we are the leaders in this new world. So thank you. Peace and blessings, everyone. Be well. Bye-bye.
Trying to remember who am I? Who am I?